Couple of years worth of conversation. We keep hearing that we have put the most historic sanctions in history on Russia, that we've done all we can. So what else is there to do?
Well, there's a lot that's left to be done in terms of enforcement of the sanctions on energy, potentially on metals, on some of the other commodities that Russia uses to raise money for its war in Ukraine. But it's hard to come up with an easy answer off the top of your head as to what is left out there that would be an obvious target. The focus has really turned in the last 6 months to a year on sort of ratcheting down on some of the sanctions that have already been rolled out. So in terms of new targets, there's a few things that could potentially be out there, but I think the U.S. has really hit a lot of the major targets that are available at this point.
So we'll wait and see what the president indeed does announce come Friday. Meantime, we've also heard from the president on the issue of additional aid to Ukraine, especially in light of the death of Alexei Navalny. He says he hopes that actually could rally support for the emergency funding package for both Ukraine and Israel. Take a listen to him over the weekend.
They're making a big mistake not responding. Look, the way they're walking away from the threat of Russia, the way they're walking away from NATO, the way they're walking away from meeting our obligations is just shocking. I've been for a while. I've never seen anything like this.
And the president also said over the weekend, Dan, that if Mike Johnson, the House Speaker, has something to say, maybe he would meet with him, as the Speaker has been calling for. Is that what has to happen next for there to be progress?
Yeah, I think, there needs to be a sit down between the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and President Biden in order to, at least stake out their negotiating positions. Right now, they're not talking, and that's not a good thing if your goal is to get something passed by the end of the day. The Senate has acted, so now it's sort of on the House, but the battle lines have hardened. The House is going hard after Alejandro Mayorkas in terms of the impeachment on the DHS secretary. They're driving hard at the border, and so it's not going to get any easier at this point.
We heard from Republican Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick on the sidelines of an event in Kyiv earlier today. Dan, let's hear what he said, and we'll have you respond.
We're going to get something through Congress. The problem is you have a lot of people that don't want to compromise. We have a compromise bill in the House, Democrats and Republicans unified together, that we're going to demand a vote, get it to the Senate, and get this done.
But then you introduce reality, Dan, called the calendar here, and it's unclear how any of this can get done, never mind fund the government, before we're talking about shutdown in March.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a question with Congress is the funding deadlines and time that's left in terms of trying to get things done while you still have an opportunity to do them. In some ways, a little bit of time pressure might help the situation because it might get people motivated, but it certainly isn't going to make things any easier, and it's going to mean a lot of long hours for folks on Capitol Hill and anyone who's trying to figure out what they're doing up there. So it's going to be interesting few weeks ahead.
Interesting indeed. Bloomberg's Dan Flatley, thank you so much. Meantime, just 4 days are left until the Republican primary in South Carolina. And Nikki Haley is trailing former President Trump by almost 30 points in the latest USA Today Suffolk University poll. Suffolk University Political Research Center Director David Paleologos spoke with us earlier today about Haley's chances.
It doesn't look good at all. I mean, this is just awful for her in her home state, two-term former governor of South Carolina, worse than Iowa for her, worse than New Hampshire. And if this margin holds up.
Let's bring in Bloomberg's Nancy Cook, who covers national politics for us and will be heading to South Carolina herself pretty soon. It seems pretty abundantly clear that Nikki Haley is not going to be able to win the South Carolina primary. Where are she and her campaign setting the bar, though? How low is it?
Well, she has said, she came out today and said that she did plan to continue to compete after South Carolina. They are pointing to a number of states in early March that will vote, and they feel like, they want to make the case that they still have a chance there. I think that honestly, realistically, what we're looking at is that she's setting herself up for two outcomes. One is that there's some sort of health scare or legal trouble that ensnares Trump to the point where he can't end up being the nominee, and she will be the last Republican standing in this primary and therefore will take up the mantle at the last minute. The other thing is that I think she's definitely looking towards 2028 and setting herself up for a presidential run there. She's in her early 50s. She's young. You know, she's been a governor. She's been the U.S. ambassador to the UN. She has a lot of great political experience. And I think, you know, even if she does not become the Republican nominee this time around, we will continue to hear from her.
Nancy, it's good to see you. We saw Nikki Haley deliver what she called a state of the race speech today in Greenville. Never good when you hear that we're doing a state of the race speech. Never good when you have to tell people at the beginning of it that you're staying in the race, and that is what she did. Here's Nikki Haley from earlier.
Some of you, perhaps a few of you in the media, came here today to see if I'm dropping out of the race. Well, I'm not.
Kind of says a lot about where you are in your campaign when that becomes the headline. Nancy, we're hearing from Donald Trump's senior campaign advisor, Chris LaCivita, who says they're going to have this in the bag in terms of delegates, at least by March 19th, maybe by March 12th. If all of this happens, and following your logic that she's kind of staying in this just in case, what happens to the Nikki Haley campaign in the spring and summer? Do they keep raising money? Do they go on ice for a while? How do you do that?
Well, if the Trump campaign's predictions are correct, that they can sort of earn enough delegates to really lock up the nomination by late March, then I imagine Nikki Haley at that point will have to drop out. You know, she has been successful at raising money. She has really surpassed people's expectations in terms of being the last Republican to challenge Trump. She has, you know, did great in debate performances. But I think that things will become much clearer after that March 19th date that the Trump campaign keeps citing, just because the delegate math will become impossible. And her campaign people are quite smart as well. And I'm sure that they will understand that. You know, you always want to project confidence, even if, you know, behind the scenes, the math becomes difficult.